got a chance to go dirt bike riding in the middle of the winter last week. And just a quick video, but mainly I'm doing it because Mike wanted to hear another story. And there's a long history with the Bowery and the band The Replacements. And so there's like 3 or 4 stories that go together, but I'm only going to tell one today, and then next time I do one of these videos, I'll probably tell another one. But anyway, this is about the very first time the band The Replacements played the Bowery. And we found out about the band because a band called X from LA, it's a big time punk band in the day. John Doe, matter of fact, is the starred in Great Balls of Fire with Dennis Quaid. He was the bass player in the band with the sister that Jerry Lee Lewis marries the cousin. If you know that movie, that story, that's John Doe. He was in this band, and he was with his wife Exene Cervenka, Billy Zoom, etc., etc. So there's a pretty famous band. But anyway, we used to ask the bands that we liked, hey, who's the up-and-coming bands? Because a lot of times we wouldn't know. Don't forget, no internet, none of that stuff that we have now to keep track of what's going on, just word of mouth pretty much. And that's the way we found Los Lobos, for example, because the Blaster told us, hey, you need to book these guys from East LA. Same kind of thing here. So we asked X, we're like, hey, you know, who's your favorite up-and-coming band? And they're like, man, there's this band in Minnesota that's just absolutely crazy that we love. We're like, oh, really? Who's that? And they're called The Replacements. Oh, we had never heard of them. My DJ, Ross, who was way hipper than I was about the music, and I don't even know if he was aware of them yet. But anyway, we went and got their album. It's called Hoot Nanny. It was their first album, or EP back then. There wasn't a full-length album. And we played it, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. They were kind of rough, you know. But we started doing a little more checking around, and everybody said they were like just crazy wild. Needed to book them. So anyway, chance came along. I don't remember how, but we booked them. And this was in the Little Bowery back in the basement. And so we booked them, and their agent, I think it was Frank Riley, actually, but I don't remember for sure, told us, hey, listen, no matter what you do, don't let them drink before the show. They can do whatever they want after the show, but do yourself a favor, don't let them have anything to drink before the show. I'm like, cool, no problem. So I told Shelby, my partner, and Jeff, the bartender, who was also a partner, hey, listen, no matter what goes on, just let them do whatever they want. They can eat, nice crack. They can eat or whatever, but don't let them drink before the show. So I left, and I came back maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours later or so, when right before the show was going to get started up, about the time I needed to be there. And I had met them when they loaded in, totally normal, young guys, real young. I mean, I think Tommy Stinson, the bass player, who now plays in Guns N' Roses, was like 16. I mean, he was a young kid, and his brother was in the band still. Tragically, he ended up committing suicide, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years later. And the rest of the band, they were all young. I mean, the oldest was, I think, his brother, Stinson's brother, and I mean, he couldn't have been 21. I mean, they were young guys. So anyway, cool. I leave, and I go, and there was a band, I think it was called Translator from San Francisco, that was opening for them. So that was going to be, it was going to be a good show for sure. So we had, the dressing room was back off the stage, and I get to the bar, and I'm going to go check in, make sure everybody, everything's cool, everything's all set. And Translator's not in there; they're sitting at the room, and that's kind of unusual, but no big deal. They don't want to sit in the dressing room. That's fine. The doors really weren't open yet. So I go and I open the door to the dressing room, and out of nowhere, I get tackled by Stinson and the lead singer, and they're like wrestling around. I'm like, what in the world is going on? And they're like throwing each other around and trying to throw me around, and it's like chaos. And I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, and they are absolutely trashed. I mean, they are like out. And I'm like, oh man, I thought if you guys were told not to drink, and they just start laughing.
That
There's
car
an
is still
fifth
there
of Canadian whiskey on the ground, on the carpet. They had killed a whole bottle, a whole fifth of whiskey, and they were just out of it. And I'm like, oh man.
They never
So I
got
walk
that
out and I
car.
go
They never
to
got
Shelby
it.
and Jeff. I'm like, hey,
That
I
car
go,
is still in the mud.
you know they're not
That's
supposed to
crazy.
drink before the show. They're like, we didn't even give it to them. I don't even know how they got it.
Yeah, and that
Somehow
was a
they
nice
snuck
car. That
around the
wasn't a
bar and
junker.
snagged the bottle, I guess, and took
Crazy.
it to the dressing
Someone beat the crap out of it
and
now.
proceeded to get just totally trashed.
Wow.
I'm like,
Drag.
here we go. So
Interesting.
I walk out of there after I get done, wrestling with, Paul Westerberg is crazy too, the singer. So I get out of there and I'm sitting down like, oh man, I don't know how this is gonna go. Luckily, they were notorious for being kind of sloppy on stage, so it wasn't like a David Crosby situation. I was like, well, whatever happens, happens. People expect that from a kind of a punk band, so whatever. And so, okay, the opening act Translator goes on. They're really good. They played really, really well. Everybody's loving it. The newspapers, there's a lot of people there.
Straight across.
And so that set goes off. And we had you know what? They didn't play that night. It was a local band that played that night. The guy's name was Ted, was the singer. I was Young something. I don't remember their name. I confused it a little bit because they played a couple times for us. This is the first time. And so the opening act played, no big deal, right? Local band, they got it's fun for them to play in front of a fairly well-known band. And they go up the stage, and half hour, 45 minutes later, the replacements come on, and they barely can finish a song. They are just totally wrecked. And it was kind of funny. I mean, I don't know. People were like digging it, so I was like, this is crazy. And so Stinson, the bass player, is just, kind of standing. The stage was only about 2 feet off the ground. It wasn't the big Bowery where it was a full like 5 foot high stage. It was like 2 feet, maybe a foot and a half. And I'm looking, and all of a sudden, he just takes a full-blown header in the middle of the song off the stage and lands right in front of the stage and is just laying there. And he starts puking. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on, dude? And so I'm looking around and I'm thinking that's the end of the show, okay, this has got to be the end of the show, right? And sure enough, Westerberg goes, hey, stops the song, goes, hey, does anybody know how to play bass out there? To the crowd, to the audience. And the kid from the opening act goes, I can play bass. He was the bass player in the opening act. He goes, come up here. They leave Stinson laying on the ground. They take the bass off of him, throw it on this other kid in the opening act, and proceed to finish the set. With Stinson laying in a puddle of whatever, and a bass player who, I don't know if he even heard the song was playing. It was just madness. Anyway, that's the first time we dealt with the replacements, and if you know anything of their history, I'll eventually get to where the live album is recorded at the bar. It's got a big famous story. If you look on the internet, there's a bunch of fake stories about it and how it happened and what happened. And anyway, there's a few more replacement stories, but that was the one where they literally, first time they played, their bass player is laying in the front of the stage, passed out.
The infamous
and
rock
they just
garden.
continued to play with some other bass player like it was no big deal. Kind of crazy. I've never seen anything like that before. So that is their first go around with us. For what it's worth, the brother of Tommy Stinson, I don't remember his name, his older brother, he played in a tutu, like a ballerina's outfit. That was the other crazy thing going on. Here's this kind of punk dude. He was kind of going bald. He was heavy set, playing in a pink ballerina's outfit. So they were quite the off the chain band, even for back then. So that's the first replacement story. This video only goes a couple more minutes. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Uh, if not, I understand. You can leave your comment. I notice people sometimes comment they don't like my story because I don't always portray their favorite act as the great and wonderful people that they think they are. Of course, they've never interacted with them, and I only have 1 or 2 nights of interaction with them, so they might just be having a bad night. But we ended up becoming really, really friendly with the replacements. We got a big kick out of them, and as they started to get more and more well known, we really were happy and glad. For a matter of fact, I believe they were Rolling Stone nominated them or said they were the most influential band in the 80s. So, I mean, they ended up being a pretty big deal. If you're not from that era, they might not mean much to you. You should Google them, though. They're still around. As an aside, my son, who's playing in Austin at the big concert they have there, ACL, they call it, got a chance. They were playing on one stage with his band, and replacements were one of the headliners playing on the other band, and he got to go over and talk to those guys. So it was kind of a full circle thing. Nice crash. Kind of a full circle thing where my son is now playing in a band that is, not necessarily opening for them. I think there's like 150, 200 bands that play this festival. It's a giant festival. ACL, I think is what it's called. But he was there, and they were playing the same day, so we got to go over and hang out and, at least meet him, and, it's kind of a cool little circle there. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the day. Hope you enjoyed the video. I see I'm picking myself up off the ground after another crash. The tires wouldn't bite in because the ground was frozen. If you notice, there's a lot of ice still in the ground, and I just don't have the skill set to deal with that. So, crash, bang, away I go. All right.